My mom said, "Don't disrespect me." I said, "Don't lie to me." We were standing in the kitchen, the smell of burnt rice hanging in the air because neither of us bothered to turn off the stove during the argument. Her voice was sharp, trembling slightly, the kind of tone she used when she was trying to stay in control. I'd never talked back to her like that before, but something inside me broke that night. It started when I found an old envelope tucked behind the photo albums. Inside were adoption papers. My name, her signature, the date, 2 months before my first birthday. My hands shook as I read it, the words blurring together. I thought it was a mistake, some paperwork thing, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. When she came home from her night shift, I was sitting at the table with the papers in front of me. "What is this?" I asked. She froze like she had been caught doing something unspeakable. "Where did you find that?" she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I repeated the question. "What is this?" She tried to smile, said it was complicated, that I was too young to understand. Too young. I was 21, old enough to pay rent, old enough to know the truth. She kept saying she loved me, that she raised me, that she was my mother, but my chest was heavy with anger and confusion. Then she snapped. "Don't disrespect me," she shouted. And that's when I said it, the words that had been boiling in my throat all "Don't lie to me." The silence after that felt heavier than any shout. She sank into the chair across from, tears sliding down her face. I'd never seen her cry like that. She whispered, "I didn't want to lose you." I stared at her. The woman who packed my lunch, who stayed up when I was sick, who saved every birthday card I wanted to be mad. I was mad. But seeing her crumble like that made the anger twist into something else. Grief. She told me everything. My biological mother was her younger sister, 17 when she got pregnant. My mom, the woman sitting in front of me, stepped in to raise me as her own so her sister could finish school and start over. My real mother had moved away years ago, and she'd never asked about me since. "She didn't want you to know," my mom said softly, "but I couldn't let you feel unwanted. You're mine in every way that matters." I couldn't respond. I just stared at those papers again. My name written by someone I didn't remember, signed by the woman who had been both my mother and my aunt. Later that night, I went to my room. The house was quiet, except for her muffled sobs through the thin walls. I wanted to go to her, to say anything, but the words wouldn't come. The next morning, breakfast was waiting on the table, like nothing happened. My favorite, long salad and hot chocolate. She didn't say a word, just smiled weakly, and placed the plate in front of me. For the first time, I realized she didn't need me to forgive her. She just needed me to stay. I picked up the fork and whispered, "I love you, Ma." She froze for a second, then nodded, tears filling her eyes again. Neither of us mentioned the papers after that. Weeks passed, and though things looked normal, something inside me changed. Every "I love you" carried new meaning. Not just affection, but understanding. I saw the sacrifices she'd made, the long nights, the quiet endurance that love requires. One night I peeked into her room. She was asleep, holding a photo of me as a toddler, the same picture from the envelope. Her thumb rested over the corner where my birth mother had signed her name. That's when I realized love doesn't always start where you're born. Sometimes it begins where someone chooses to stay.